ambience, tension, melancholy, then release. Together with Taro Umebayashi, Ichiko created one of the highest acclaimed albums to ever come out of an independent Japanese musician. This is Windswept Adan. As a concept record, Windswept Adan was created to serve as a soundtrack for an imaginary movie, which Umebayashi is very fit for, as he also has previous experience working in anime. Overall, it is undeniable that this was crucial for her international breakout, with critical acclaim from numerous sources of Western media. The story of Windswept Adan is set in two islands, one filled with inbred individuals. The story is centered around a small girl, who was sent away by her grandmother in the hopes of preserving the bloodline. The island the girl arrives at is called Adan, a land where no language is spoken, but instead shells are exchanged. The name of the album was thought of by Ichiko whilst driving around an island in Okinawa called Zamami, with Kodai Kobayashi, her photographer. She had noticed trees, at which point Kodai told Ichiko about Adan trees and their rather unsavory fruit. Prologue is a 5-minute opener that really manifests the entire album from nothing. Ichiko personally recorded the waves on the beach from Amami Oshima, where Ichiko was inspired to create Windswept Adan. The droning of the background is an old organ of Ichiko's friend, which provides a relaxing accompaniment. Fully embodying the album's concept as a movie, Umebayashi and Ichiko created Pilgrimage with the image of a storyteller playing and directing the beginning of the story. The creator of the piece was very experimental, as they sought to find an instrument that made the sound of the piece foreign and sort of mysterious. They eventually settled on a South American instrument called a charango. In addition, despite having vocals within the song, there aren't actually any comprehensible lyrics. This perhaps enhances the image of a mysterious storyteller leading the song. The composition process often involved Kodai taking pictures, and then either Ichiko or Umebayashi taking the lead in musical composition. This approach of finding visuals and then building music, rather than creating music and then building visuals, helped unify Ichiko, Umebayashi, and Kodai, with Kodai having a role in the production even in early stages of a song. As quoted by Umebayashi, "I think everyone on the team shared that spirit. It wasn't about being stuck in your role, like I'm the composer, or I'm the photographer, or I'm the lyricist. Everyone put out the same amount of energy, and that's what I'm proudest of." Together with Kodai, Umebayashi and Ichiko sought to create a song that embodied the burnt red that's shown in this photo. With careful thought to stay within their collective belief that the voice should be at the core, Umebayashi helped manifest Ichiko's previously stated silent orchestra, with a loose and free instrumental manifested in Porcelain. Made with Ichiko's old accordion, Ichiko had a scene in an imaginary movie where an old woman raising the girl makes her a piece of clothing with the sails of a boat. Ichiko completely improvised this song while thinking about the warm kindness of the people around the girl. This is a beautiful sort of interludo piece. Easter Lily holds the spirit of Zamami Island. The song is very beachy and relaxing, with the lyrics describing many aspects of Zamami Island. Ichiko was inspired by the white lilies, which Umebayashi painted by employing the use of an instrument called a celeste, a percussion instrument similar to a piano, except it uses bells. The sparkly sound of a celeste better fit the feeling of flowers to Umebayashi. Arranged and composed by Umebayashi, Parfum D'etoiles roughly translates to the fragrance of stars. As a slow, non-verbal, melancholic song, Parfum D'etoiles was created by putting a felt covering over the piano, which created a softer and more muted tone. The song likely embodies a difficult period for the young girl when leaving for Adan. Her precious grandmother is so far, but yet so close in spirit. We can hear faint calls in the background, amongst the chirping of birds and the piano. This is an amazing, explorative piece of Windswept Adan. Wanting to add a cultural touch of the islands that inspired the album, Umebayashi incorporated harmonies of Okinawan folk music, often referred to as Shima uta, into both Easter Lily and Parfum D'etoiles. Funnily enough, the music of Amami is also called Shima uta, which is slightly confusing. Kirinarushima is the name of a fictional island in the story, also spelled Kirinakishima. Here, Ichiko described the song to depict another situation, where a girl with the richest blood in her lineage is sent to another island to preserve the lineage's blood. The song is super heavy and uncomfortable, which invokes the girl's despair of being sent away against her will. Sagu Palm is a tropical tree that grows in parts of Asia. In another part of Japan where Ichiko Aoba was inspired, Amami Oshima, as mentioned earlier, their language and syntax occasionally differs from traditional Japanese, hence we get Sagu Palm instead of Sago. Sagu Palm's song is Ichiko's way of telling us the noise of the tree. According to Ichiko, the inspiration for these lyrics were inspired by frogs, attempting to embody how frogs help the greenery become alive during the night with their calls, hence sort of representing a voice for the trees. The live version of the song is a personal favorite of mine. My friend, whose channel I'll link here, showed me this great big story video, which will tell you a lot more about the cultural significance of this tree. Following Sagu Palm's song, we get a two-parter in Chinuhaji and Kaze. Chinuhaji is some form of outdated romanization of Chinuhashi, roughly translating to beginning of blood, while Kaze directly translates to blood of the wind. Both these songs are inspired by a piece by folklorist Koei Sakima, called The Story of Shima. Chinuhaji is a non-lyrical piece, and it begins with this anxious, distorted noise that sounds sort of like a beating heart, which is followed by a jingling of wind chimes, which eventually shifts into this synthetic hum. Its counterpart, Kaze, has lyrics inspired by magical spells in the book. This includes Chiyo Chiyo, and Yarawan Yarawan na Michi Michi Nikai. The two circles are placeholders in the Japanese language. The entire sentence roughly means, even if it is some situation, go your own way. Hence, Kaze seems to be encouraging in many ways, perhaps to the girls that are being sent away. Hagupit is actually a word in Tagalog, an official language of the Philippines. It roughly translates to repeated lashings, and is the name of a typhoon that forced Ichiko to be holed up inside, during which time she wrote this song, which we can see through the lyrics. For me, the song is sort of the calm before the storm, before the next piece is truly unleashed by Ichiko. Dawn in the Adan is the first song that Ichiko stated was sort of disconnected from the imaginary movie. Ichiko had spontaneously brought the whole crew to the beach in the morning at sunrise, which is when everyone immediately gained a vision for what this song would be like. When I was writing this song, I put aside the creatures on the island for a moment and started thinking about what is at the root of my own life, the connections I've inherited from my parents and grandparents, and my sad and painful feelings. The task was to find out where it was all coming from. This song is very interesting because it seems to cover some motives from several songs. At one part, it shares a vocal very similar to Porcelain, despite the two songs being very different in grandeur. And at the ending, the pace is almost representative of the song just before, Dawn in the Adan. Adan Shima no Tanjyousai roughly translates to birth festival on the island of the Adan. Since the word Tanjyousai appears as the title of the song, but also at the end of the album, sort of showing a beginning and end, Ichiko describes the song to be about rebirth. This cyclic meaning is also displayed by a short reference to pilgrimage, which is very early on in the album. Ichiko's influence on younger generations had mainly appeared through Zero, with Windswept Adan helping her gain international recognition through critics and reviews. However, in 2021, she released a single called Asleep Among Endives. This was probably Ichiko's single most significant song in exposing her to the younger generations. Mainly through TikTok, the song's somber mood was often used in videos meant to be depressing or nostalgic. Unsurprisingly, when I myself went to Ichiko's live concert this February, Asleep Among Endives was in her tracklist. Needless to say though, Ichiko's live performances are probably the best out of any modern day artist, and they arguably sound better than the studio recorded versions. Anyways, that's the bulk of Ichiko's most significant discography. I hope you enjoyed the video and subscribe if you liked it. Comment any suggestions or recommendations, nothing is too harsh.